Welcome back to today's video. We're doing the CFS 6 months look ahead for May. Today we're going to have a look at all the CFS charts for the next 6 months, stretched out from May through to October, can you believe? So going towards the end of the year, or certainly the final quarter of the year. We're going to have a look at the 700 millibar height anomaly charts first of all, then we're going to have a look at the corresponding temperature charts, and then the corresponding precipitation charts, try and build up a picture of where the CFS model is currently at for the next 6 months. Now, keep in mind it's a highly experimental model, the CFS version 2 model. This is not to be relied upon in any way. The charts are there, so we might as well use them, but it really is just for fun. Excuse me, just for fun. Do not take this seriously in any way. It's for fun and amusement purposes, and to come back perhaps in a few months and see whether or not the CFS was onto something or not. But as I say, it's not to be relied upon in any way. Now, before I get on with the CFS 6 months look ahead, just want to mention advertising. There's video ads on my pages at gazwebbiz.com. If you press play on the video ad, you'll be supporting gazwebbiz.com. Thanks very much for doing that. Also got the content tabs, which are links to articles. So if there's any article that you're interested in, browse through. I had a browse through, and there are some very interesting articles. So if there's anything you're interested in, just click through, and you'll be able to go off and read the article. At the same time, Gazwebbiz will get a royalty fee on what you're doing. And thanks so much for doing that. And really, just to say, enjoy the video. The link to the CFS version 2 model is on my links page, so if you want to see these charts for yourself, you're certainly more than able to. You click through the link on the links page. And really just say, enjoy the video. I hope you find it interesting, informative and fun. So let's start off with May 2014, and this is the 700 millibar height anomaly for the month that we're currently in. I'll be doing the May month head forecast tomorrow. This chart will make up part of the forecast, no doubt. The model is seeing high pressure up to the northeast. Been quite a consistent signal with that. Also seeing high pressure down to the south and the southeast as well. And a deep trough of low pressure out to the Atlantic jet stream, doing something like that around that trough and ridge. So we're more or less on the warm side of the jet, and we've got a ridge of high pressure very, very close by. So it actually isn't quite too bad a signal, I don't think, for May from this CFS model. Have a look at the temperature and precipitation charts in a moment. I don't think that's too bad at all. June doesn't look too bad at all either. We've got this trough of low pressure, some sort of trough of low pressure in the Atlantic, a ridge of high pressure up over Scandinavia. So very similar sort of pattern for June to what we're seeing for May. Jet stream again running around something like that, around the trough and the ridge. So yeah, I think that could be a warmish sort of month, probably bringing in southeasterly flows with that, with the ridge close by over Scandinavia. It could be pretty dry as well, not too bad at all. Now as we go through to July, things are a little bit different. The pattern is basically changing through July, and this has been something that's been quite consistent with the CFS model for quite a few months now, but it's seeing a relatively settled and warmish start to the summer, and then a slow deterioration through the summer. Have a look at 700 millibar height anomaly for August in a moment, but for July, it's placing below average heights at 700 millibars around Iceland. It's seeing that that ridge to the northeast is sort of declining away, and if we go over to this side of the chart, you can actually see it a little bit better. The ridge is being pushed back towards western parts of Russia, and there's still a little bit of a ridge over the pole as well. Also got this ridge around the Azores. It's quite a complicated pattern, but I think overall the idea is that the jet stream is probably coming back around that trough that's forming around Iceland. So what we could get in July is, if this is right, is a gradual deterioration through the month, maybe starting off quite warm and settled, but slowly turning more unsettled as that trough develops around Iceland. And then for August, been a consistent signal over the last few months while I've been doing this. We see below average heights really coming back then to the northwest of the country. Still got some sort of ridge up to the east, but it's the trough that's driving that. So again, the jet stream is running right through the country around that low pressure, around the trough in the Atlantic. So that is a cooler, more unsettled signal for August. Again, have a look at temperature precipitation charts in a moment. As we go through to September, we find that the ridge comes back to the northeast of the country. So in September, yep, we set up the above average heights again around Scandinavia. We're losing the trough in the Atlantic. and we're probably bringing in quite an easterly or southeasterly sort of flow around that. Now what you could get with this, because it's September, it's late on, is you might start finding some thundery conditions perhaps coming up from the south and the southwest as low pressure sort of generates underneath that ridge of high pressure around Scandinavia. Nevertheless, on the face of it, that's not a bad anomaly for September. If we go over to this side of the chart, again we do see that ridge up over Scandinavia, and it does extend to Scotland in particular. Finally, have a look at the 700 millibar height anomalies for October. If anything, the ridge strengthens over Scandinavia for October. So this is a dry looking signal for October. 6 months away though, so it's a huge time out. Do not take this seriously in any way, but that ridge is extending in. Again, probably a lot of southeasterly or easterly flows, so it could be on the mild side, although by October, if you get easterlies, of course they are starting to cool down. Again, we can see over here that the core of that ridge is centred somewhere over Denmark or southern parts of Scandinavia, so again probably easterly winds coming in with that. The trough of low pressure is quite a deep one in the Atlantic, but it's sort of being blocked, and the jet stream going something like that is being blocked by that ridge of high pressure up to the northeast. So it looks like the CFS model at the moment is a very long way out. It's predicted a more settled sort of August, a more settled sort of autumn, but for the summer it's saying that we probably get a gradual deterioration as we go through. Now let's see whether this is backed up by the temperature and precipitation forecast. So we'll deal with temperatures first of all. For May, it's seeing relatively mild weather out in west, particularly around Spain and Portugal, but also across southern parts of England. Right, we're above average. Quite cold in the northeast and the east of Europe. How much that's been influenced by the current position now, which with a very cold already been blasting down over Scandinavia and northeast Europe, I'm not sure, but it is in a bit of an east-west split. Colder in the east and the northeast, warmer out to west. So it implies probably temperatures for May will be a little bit above average, if anything. Also for June, probably nearly above average there, and notice most of Europe actually going above average through June, so we lose those cold anomalies in the east and the northeast for June, replace them with warm anomalies, and most of Europe is warm through June. It does look like being a very warm month, if that's right. Spain and Portugal, though, interestingly, turning quite a lot colder. Going through to July, again, Spain and Portugal are on the cold side. Now, what you have to bear in mind, these are anomalies compared to average. So, in central parts of Spain, an anomaly of, say, what is this? How much of an anomaly is that below average? It's somewhere around 2 to 3 degrees below average across central parts of Spain. That's still very, very hot, of course. It just means that instead of reaching 40 degrees in central Spain, it's perhaps around 37, but it's still very, very hot across central parts of Spain. So if you're off to Spain this summer and you're looking at that and thinking about it, it's going for a cold summer, keep in mind that it's just an anomaly compared to average. It will still be very, very hot. Have no fear about that across most of Spain, Portugal and the Mediterranean. But anyway, getting back to us, for July it's seeing average sort of temperatures, the warmth again over to the east and the northeast of Europe. Again going through to August, average temperatures in the west, or cool to average in the west, warmer in the east. So it's definitely this idea, but once you get past May and June, we're seeing an east-west split with the warmth in the west, the cooler temperatures, the warmth in the east I should say, the cooler temperatures are in the west, which is a flip around compared to what it's seeing for May. Going through to September, we start autumn. Of course, that ridge of high pressure up over Scandinavia, so it's warmer than average up there. That just about extends in to British Isles as well. But overall, not a particularly strong signal for temperatures in any of the months, really, over the next few months. Although by the time we get through to October, funnily enough, the month that's 6 months away, has the strongest signal for being above average there and very warm compared to average anyway over Scandinavia. The reason for that is I've got that strong ridge of high pressure sitting over Scandinavia. So going through to the precipitation forecast for the next 6 months for May, seeing lots of dry weather up over Scandinavia, most of central southwest Europe dry as well. British Isles looking a little bit above average in terms of the rainfall for May, so if anything it's sort of seeing slightly warmer than average month and wetter than average month as well, particularly evident for Ireland, but most of the British Isles in the above average category for precipitation in May. As I'll be doing the May month ahead forecast tomorrow, this will have a bearing on that forecast. So if you're interested in what I'm going to predict for May, come back tomorrow. For June, well, it turns wetter through Spain and Portugal. Could be some heavy thunderstorms down there. The northeast and the east of Europe, dry on average. For British Isles, again, we're very much near normal, actually. Not really got much of a signal there for June. But with that high pressure just extending in from the east, I would suspect it could be, fingers crossed, a dry of an average month. But look what it's saying for July. Deterioration, what I was talking about, does take place as we go through to July. Yeah, the British Isles getting above average rainfall, well above average in places, as is most of France, most of Spain, Portugal as well. So it implies that jet stream really coming back in as we go through July. And then on into August, again, it's above average with rainfall for August. This is a consistent signal from the CFS model that the first part of the summer in June isn't too bad, but there is this deterioration takes place through July and August, a particularly unsettled month with above average rainfall. Then things dry out as we go through to September, but it's such a long way off you can't take it seriously, but that's the idea. Anyway, things do dry out, that ridge of high pressure building over Scandinavia, and that sort of dry signal then intensifies as we go through to October. Very, very dry there for most of Europe. British Isles is included in that, with a big area of high pressure over Scandinavia blocking the Atlantic winds. So that's how it's looking on this month's 6 months look ahead. Unsettled and warmish sort of May. Not too bad for June, but then the deterioration through July and August. Both months looking above average with the rainfall. Could be particularly wet in July and August. Temperatures, no real signal for temperatures, but with above average rainfall and a strong Atlantic jet stream, I would suspect the temperatures wouldn't be much to write home about, to be honest. And then things dry out through September and October, but that's so far away, we can't take it seriously. Can't take any of this seriously, really. It's all just for fun and amusement purposes. It will be interesting to see whether this deterioration through the summer takes place with an unsettled July and August. So if it does take place, then we'll put a bit of credence to what we're doing here. But overall, it is really just for fun. It's for fun and amusement. Don't take it too seriously. With all the caveats applied, hope you enjoyed the video. We'll do it all over again in June, probably again the first Sunday of June. That's all for now, and thanks for watching.